Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Fang, just Fang, back on another Fang Just a video. In this video, we are going to be talking about the future of Pirate 101, and more specifically, Crocotopia. Now, this is basically just the base spin of the Atmoplex's thing on the Pirate 101 roundtable that happened on May 10th. So it is a little bit dated. I didn't realize that a roundtable happened, so I gotta get back on the swing of things. So we're reporting Pirate 101 news just a little bit late, but this is very telling for the future of Pirate 101. And oh man, it's looking good in some parts, but in some other parts that I'll mention pretty soon, it's not looking great. So everyone knows that, well, okay, spoiler warning, obviously, this is about the future of Pirate 101 in story as it stands. As you know, Pirate 101 alluded to going to Cocotopia after the Tartarus update, and we got some information on that. So I will just read the question and the answer, then I want to talk a little bit about it. So the question was, what is the current plan with Cocotopia being revealed as the next world? For example, should we expect the content to come out in chunks? Will there be a new Skyway? Will the graphics be ported from Wizard or updated? And can we finally expect a new level cap? That is that is a lot in one question. Sam even said that. Good grief, that's a lot of questions. But the answer was, we're a very small team right now in Pirate, so we're trying to keep the game alive as best as we with the resources we have. We also share resources with Wizard, so we kinda bet our shots and be very careful with what we do whenever we do some piece of content. People can have the expectation for future content to be similar or smaller to Tartarus. Oh boy, okay. We want it to be around that midway point between Tartarus and some Sinbad content we've been doing. So whatever the next content is, it's going to be probably around that size. So I'm going to pause real quick. That, looking forward, it's going to be kind of rough. So, we've been promised a whole world size worth of content this year, and I guess maybe they can make an argument with Tartarus being part of that, and then the Cocotopia thing, if Cocotopia comes out this year, if a chunk of it comes out. But it's to the point where I'm like, why are we not making a new world and eventually implementing a new Skyway? Which I will talk about that later. And currently having these smaller updates, they need to be more frequently, because you cannot release because Sinbad Part 3 was kind of a good amount of content, and they're thinking in between Sinbad Part 3 and Tartarus. That's fine, but we need more content, more content per year than just, hey, we're gonna release 2 chunks per year. That's not going to be enough content to keep something going. You're going to need to do quarterly at least for if you're doing smaller chunks. I understand if you're doing a world, if you're doing Crocotopia, the whole thing, that could be next year. That's the whole thing next year. And I'd be fine with that. They could add some random quality of life stuff for the end of the year this year. But they're not doing that. And it looks like they're not planning on doing that. And that's really unfortunate. But let's continue on with the next thing. So it says, this is still the same question. As for other mechanics like level cap and additional companion stuff, we are always looking at those things. But right now, what's the healthiest to keep the game afloat? We want to start doing stuff to engage the endgame players, but we'd like to get new players in. So this is what they're talking about with the front funnel. Obviously, that's a later question, but bringing in new players, I agree with this somewhat, but you need to keep your old endgame players happy, because that's the people you're making the most money off of. I know you need more of a revenue source, but if you want people to keep paying memberships and keep, re-rolling the chests for the newest gear, you need to make that new gear. That's just how the game works. So increase the front funnel, exactly what I said. Those are some of the things that we're looking for at the future. A level cap doesn't necessarily do that, but it's something we want to give players, and we're talking a lot about this year. It's just that right now we're not necessarily focused on that, as we'd rather have more content for the players. Again, level cap would add more content for the players and mix up PvP. You could have potentially more companion epics. I don't think that would actually happen, but better companion stats. You could have powers for your new pirate. You could have gear for your new pirate. There's so many things that you could do with a level cap that adds so much content, but I understand they're trying to do, the front funnel, which is going to be different than, end game players. They're not focusing on us right now, like chillax, because we need more people to buy membership. That makes sense. I understand, unfortunately, every video game is, gonna need to be able to make a profit, and if they're not doing it in the way of adding more content to end game players, they're gonna look for other ways to do that, and that could be focusing on that front funnel and not really giving too much for the end game players. Which, honestly, they redid all the they redid all the starter quests, right? I don't really think that did much, and I think they need to figure out like something to do that would really, really help that front funnel. And another thing that I think would be really great is extending that paywall. They need to extend that plenty far so you can unlock content like you can get your own ship, and you can promote a companion. You can't do that. You can't unlock that. And you can do El Presidio companion. You can do all that. And I'd love to be able to do that in the free part, because then you get more mechanics that the free-to-play players are like, this game is actually getting pretty good, and I want to continue and pay. Now, if you only give them blood shoals, then they're not going to have that, they're not going to be able to do that. So it's kind of like give or take. I don't really like what they're talking about with front funnel, because they could be doing something right now, which is make that paywall a lot further back to give more mechanics for that. But if they're focusing on, I honestly, I want to see what they're going to do with front funnel, whatever that means. I want to see what they do with that. I'm going to get some of my friends to like play the game as it is right now, give me a little interview, and then if they ever increase and like, make that front funnel better, I want an honest review from a new Pirate101 player. So that's the plan. But for right now, it just seems like I need to see it with my own eyes. And then if they actually do increase the front funnel and it gets more players, then great. Then you can focus on endgame players. But I need to see that happen. If it's a failure, then we're not going to get endgame content. If it's a success, it's kind of like holding, not really holding us hostage, but more like if this front funnel doesn't work, you're probably going to get not a lot of content. But if it does work, then we can finally focus on you guys, because you've been waiting all this time and we want it to be successful. Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. But I'm yapping. Let's get to the next question. We're already 6 minutes. That's wild. So it says, this is Dom saying this next part. With the content chunks we're capable of releasing right now, a level cap for Pirate would be like 5 to 10 levels. But with the amount of content we're releasing now, there's no way to effectively spread that without it feeling incredibly rushed. I disagree. I think all of Sinbad plus Tartarus and then part of Croc could definitely be 5 levels. 100% could be 5 levels, but that's just me. Obviously, that's not, but it could be, and it would be great, but yeah. But that's all in active discussion right now. As Andrew said, we've been discussing this a lot this year. If we did follow a path of a level increase, what would be the best way to go about doing this? It would definitely not be increasing it by like 1 or 2. I honestly think it would just be either do nothing or do something. And I skipped this part. It said we could possibly consider a smaller level upgrade chunks, like 2 levels or something. I disagree. I think they should move to either do no level cap increase or go all the way to that 5 levels. So then you actually unlock the stuff, that people want. More gear, more everything. It's just, man, they need to do something. And if they don't do anything, then that's better than doing a small amount, if that makes sense. I don't want to see it to level 72. I want to see to level 75. So yeah. Okay, next question. It's been way too long. Will Cocotopia be brought out in chunks to eventually form a world? Okay. Okay. Sam said, yeah, I don't know specifically in this case or not, but going forward with the storyline, I'm looking for small chunks. This may be all over the place. We might have a few that are in the same world in a row. Very inconsistent and weird. Okay. I haven't gone down the line that far yet, but I'm still figuring that out. Okay. I think if they're ever releasing something in small chunks, they should do it like Sinbad did, where you complete that. Every update's going to be a new Croc part. They shouldn't jump around like that. I completely think that is not how you should do that. I get like you can add like quality of life stuff and then still keep that story, but you need to keep that story. Don't like go to a random place. We don't want that. We want Cocotopia, finish that up, make it a full world, wrap it in a bow, eventually add a Skyway to that, make it a complete world. The start could be like some random place, but then when there's more resources, make it into a complete world, And I think that could be a strategy that actually works, but I don't know. I honestly don't know how game development works. But the next part is kind of funny because if you know me, I love Amoplexes. The Amoplex is like Pastebin. They always talk about Skyways, and Amoplex always is like, this is just not how it works, and it's so much simpler than this. But let's just go on to the next part of the question. So Dom says, right now I don't think we'll be getting a new Skyway as of now. If you're familiar with Wizard 101, it'll be like how Wizard gets Aquila, where you don't go through the spiral door, so you kind of go through that like chariot thing to Zeus, Skyfather, and whatnot. They instead interact with someone to go to a new zone. It'll probably be similar to that to get to Cocotopia. So they basically are kind of doing another Tartarus thing, where you go on like a interactable and then there's no map and you're just kind of stuck in this area. I really hate that because the whole point of Pirate is you get to that exploration of like you're going through the Skyways and you get to see all the islands. That's why I like it a lot more than Wizard, because Wizard feels a lot more trapped and condensed, and like you're supposed to only be here when I can't travel through all the stuff. So I really disagree with this. I think Skyways are really important, and if you're making a new world, just go for it. Take your time, make a Skyway. Unfortunately, that's not what it looks like they're going to do. Okay, so the next part of this is Andrew yapping, even though I yap. Andrew yapping about how Skyways are expensive, and the reason why I feel like it's almost copium. I don't want to be too mean, but like the Atmoplex's like note is so funny to me. So let's just read this. So Andrew said Skyways in general are very expensive to make. I know some people might not think it, or might think it's not, but they have a lot of additional content that needs to go along with them. I completely agree. You need to make islands. You need to make that 3D model, and then you need to make like the actual assets of like a Skyway. Obviously, it's it takes more resources, but I think it's worth it ultimately. They were also made by people who aren't necessarily at the company anymore, so they obviously don't have people who know how to make Skyways. That's kind of crazy. Maybe that's just crazy to me. So it'd be somewhat of a learning activity for an artist to go in there and figure out how to set up a Skyway. Do it. Come on, do it. You got this. We can do it. It's just, there's a myriad of other issues that come with implementing a new Skyway. There's a bunch of other boxes we'd have to check, and I'd rather have us take our time to focus on other parts of the game to move it forward and get it into a healthier spot. I don't agree with this, like, at all. I mean, obviously, getting the game into a healthier spot, I think you should focus on that, like, the front funnel. But then if you're going for that late game content, it should be a Skyway. I don't care if it takes ages, make it a Skyway, because endgame players want Skyways, I'm pretty sure. If you're an endgame player, like me, you want a Skyway to be able to traverse and see that. You don't want just a Tartarus where you're stuck into a little area. You want a Skyway, because that's the whole point of Pirate 101. That's what I was saying. That exploration. So I think, honestly, focus on that front funnel, perfectly fine. I completely agree with you. Very good idea. Once you get that front funnel set up, and you try and move it to a healthier spot, that shouldn't be a reason to not do a Skyway. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be I would say, if they're going to do an endgame update, make it one that has a Skyway. Or you could do this. You could give us a little chunk, right? As you were saying, in chunks. Give us a little chunk that's kind of like Tartarus. But then, to the point, you make a front funnel. You successfully, get more players, make the game healthier by doing the front funnel after that. Give us a little bit. Make another chunk. Ooh, great. Make another one, and that connects to all those other chunks. Make it bigger. It has a Skyway, and then start adding into that Skyway. Just building up the world piece by piece. The first two parts could be like in this enclosed area, but I want later down the line to see a Cocotopia Skyway. And if we're confirming that there's going to be no Skyway, that's horrible, and I do not want that. I don't think anyone wants that. I think we want to see a Cocotopia Skyway, because that would be awesome. My opinion. And there's even like a storm gate to Cocotopia, so I think they should use that, and it wouldn't make any sense just to like instant teleport. It feels wrong, almost. It just feel wrong. Just like kind of how Tartarus kind of felt weird. I don't know, this might be just me, but like whenever I went into Tartarus, I felt like it was such an enclosed, ported thing from Wiz, and like I couldn't do anything because it felt more like a Wiz dungeon than a Pirate 101 area, because, oh man, I'm not going to get into Tartarus too much. I think Tartarus is fine. I'm glad they did an update. And I love the storyline, and I love all the voice acting. They did amazing, but there's just some stuff that, it needs to be more Pirate 101-ized instead of just ported from Wiz, So this is the greatest thing ever, the Atmoplex note. We love the Atmoplex note. So this is the Atmoplex just yapping about how the Skyway is much simpler to create. So a Skyway is much simpler to create than implied by the developers. It is a very large area, yes, but there's not much more to it. Mobs/ship paths are placed in the same way as in other areas. Wind lanes are also functionally implemented through the system. Islands are placed in the exact way that one would go and place an NPC and normal objects. Okay. The real challenge here would be obtaining the required art assets to invest enough time to 3D model the Skyway. 100%, yeah. This is why we recommend to make a small Skyway. Yep. It can even be a reskin of an existing one. 100%. Just that exploration would be great. This is what we did for our fan-made Darkmoor. You know, the Darkmoor project was great, and I would love to see a Skyway because I like the Darkmoor project more than I like Tartarus because it's an exploration and you go to different islands and you talk to different people, and I just like that because that's what Pirate 101 is at its core. You just go and explore, you know? I've said that like a million times. It is confusing that they seemingly shy away from reskinning a Skyway when recent worlds like Lemuria from Wizard 101 contains multiple reskin zones. I did not know about that. I would say don't stoop to that level in Wizard 101 because you don't need to be like Wizard 101. You need to be like Pirate 101 because that's your game. So I hate old ported stuff. I think we should, you know, obviously there's a reason because you want to make money. Like ported mounts make me not happy, but it needs to make money somehow. But do not start becoming like Wizard 101. We do not need that. We do not need Wizard 101 in our Pirate 101 game. Okay? But yeah, I could see to save resources, reskinning a Skyway sounds fine. It is also very important to note that KingsIsle have multiple Cocotopia Island assets that they contracted out by a different company back in 2010. Multiple entire islands. They might look outdated now, but all they needed to do at the minimum is swap out the textures for higher quality ones. They have a vast asset selection for Mirage and existing HD Cocotopia assets if they wish to pursue this path. Amoplex just told the devs exactly how to do it. I think they should listen. You know, it'd be kind of awesome because I love, you know, exploration and I love Pirate 101, and it'd be great. Okay, this next question, this is like the one question I forgot to ask Blind Mew, and like someone added me and they're like, why did you not ask about pets? So here you go. You know, this round table did it, so I'll talk about it real quick. So the question was, will there ever be a pet system revamp in the future? Pet kiosks, quicker training methods, and easier ways to obtain mega snacks? And Andrew says, it has been talked about as one of the weaker systems that needs to be improved, so it is on the list. I don't think it's at the top of the list. If we update systems, maybe we'd make companions more interesting. Interesting, okay. Or add additional stuff that we would like, but don't want to talk about right now. Okay. I heard this exact thing, though, so it's potentially something we can look down the line. Okay. Get your priorities straight, Pirate 101, okay? Companions, as it stands, I love companions, okay? I think reworks of companions would be really cool, like what they did with Yule Trog and the Troggy Chieftain or whatever. Do that. But why would you update a companion system? Companions are a core gameplay loop to this game. And I think where they stand right now, I don't remember, maybe people do complain about this, but I don't complain about companions. I think it's fine. That's like one of the only things I don't complain about. Do not take that much time and effort to remake the whole companion system when you can just implement a system from Wiz. Again, I said not to rip it from Wiz, but Wiz does a good job with pets. I love Wiz pets. Rip it from Wiz, put it in Pirate. That's it. You don't have to do that much. Reworking companions would take so much more effort. So again, get your priorities straight. Do that front funnel. Get some chunks of endgame content for our late game. Once the front funnel works, then you can start doing a Skyway for the endgame. You can rework pets. That would be very easy. Then eventually, when that actually goes through, then you can rework companions, because that is such a big thing. Unless you're just talking about giving them epics and like making them strong like Yule Trog, then that's also very easy. So I don't know what exactly they're talking about. Unless it's like a whole new system, that would be cool, but not right now. It is not Pirate 101's time to get a companion rework. I'm just saying. Okay. Next question. Are the graphics for Cocotopia going to be like the original Wizard 101 Cocotopia, or more like the Zigzag area? So if you don't know, Wizard 101 original Cocotopia was, I think, came out with the game. It had to have been because first arc. So like 2008, right? And it is so ugly. I do not like Wizard 101 Cocotopia. But Zigzag is you go under to this like little statue, and it's like a later dungeon, not late game, because obviously it's like level 80 or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's got like revamped textures. It looks awesome. So that's a genuine question. So Sam said that would be telling, but I can say straight up it will be familiar. Okay, but I can also say that whatever happens, it's not gonna be like current Cocotopia. Good. It's gonna be prettier than that. Very nice. Obviously you need to update the graphics. You do not want 2008 graphics in Pirate 101 as a new world. And I know for a fact that they're going to break ground on getting that stuff together. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I've made a big long ask for things, and I'm very interested to see how much of it I get. Because I said flat out, and this is what I always do, I always try to find the limit. I ask for the moon, and I get Pittsburgh. And I'll be like, okay. Ultimately, there could be some specific visual things in an environment that doesn't really matter to the story. I'm happy if I get them, but I can deal with it if I don't. It won't affect the Quest X thing if shaped like a Y or whatever. Okay. So it's basically like he's gonna ask for a lot of things, and if they can't get it done, it's not gonna affect the main story. So I mean, again, I agree with this. Just make it prettier, and I think we're chilling. Even just make it look like Zigzag. It looks perfectly fine, and I think that's a great thing that they can do. So just don't do straight up porting because Tartarus is kind of straight up porting, and it's like So just make it original and awesome and cool, and people will like it. Okay. To end it off, um, I got the last question, and then there's gonna be like just a real quick like rundown, just like a real quick one rundown. But hold on, let's. So the last question is, what is at the top of the to-do list? This is a very important thing to know for the future of Pirate 101. Front funnel. That's what Dom says. It's like the snowball effect. It's the beginning of the snowball. If we can get more players in and committed, it lets us do so much more. We really want to see more players in Pirate on a daily basis. 100% agree, but I think you need to actually do stuff, which an important thing is moving back that paywall. And another one is making the quests maybe more friendlier. Like, I could not tell you what they could do for front funnel because the core gameplay loop is what that's going to be. And if a player's not appealed, like it does not like that, then they're just not going to like it. And it's rough because what does Wiz do? I guess you could just copy what Wiz does. I don't actually know what the front funnel is for Wiz that is different than Pirate, that gets more players in. But does Wiz actually get more players? That's what I wonder. It's honestly a question of, is it just nostalgia? Is that what we're all playing it for? Obviously, I love Pirate, and that's not for nostalgia. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. If a new person would genuinely want to play Pirate, if they change that front funnel. Again, the only thing I can think of at the top of my head is moving that paywall so you can get more mechanics that newer players can play. That just makes sense to me. And, in my brain, it's a very simple, just move it back so you can play more, And then maybe they'll be incentivized to buy a membership because they actually like the game. I don't know. It seems pretty good. So, finally, the last little thing is just this is what the Amoplex posted as like the too long didn't read, basically. So Morganth is not the new arc villain. Good. We do not want to copy and paste. That's so weird. What the heck? That'd be really weird. I think they need to make a continuation of the Queen ending. I would really love that. They need to do that at some point. Like, come on, please, please, please. But we'll see. Cocotopia will not have a new Skyway or new level cap. It'll be a similar size to Tartarus/Sinbad. That's depressing. And I think this is a little bit of clickbait because it's like chunks of Cocotopia will not have a new Skyway or a new level cap. I'm hoping that if they do a full chunk, I really want them to bring it together. Maybe not have a Skyway, but a new level cap. That'd be awesome. It's all up in the air at this point. And then they discussed pushing the paywall back, and Sam supports this idea. Very nice. That would be very nice, and I think they need to do that for their front funnel, and that's one of the most important things to do. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is like a mid video. Hopefully you found this insightful. I know I'm a little late. My audio actually got corrupted halfway through, so I had to redo the whole thing, and that's why I'm pretty late on this roundtable, but it is pretty telling what the future of Cocotopia is, so I wanted to get you guys out, even though it was late Pirate 101 news. I'm sorry about that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this, and are you excited for chunks of Cocotopia? I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't tell you, and I want to see what they do with the front funnel, and I want to see what they do with Cocotopia, and I want to see what they do with the Pirate 101 in general. So it's going to be definitely kind of crazy, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.